Welcome to Around the Law in 60 Minutes, WOLEP Legal Podcast. We kick off 2024 by delving into the realm of legal ethics in the digital age. As technology continues to advance rapidly, it is crucial to explore the ethical implications that arise within the legal profession. In this interconnected world, lawyers face unique ethical dilemmas brought about by social media, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and big data analytics. Upholding justice, confidentiality, and integrity requires careful navigation of issues such as attorney-client privilege, data protection, conflicts of interest, and the ethical use of emerging technologies. Join us today as we welcome two esteemed attorneys who will share their insights and real-world examples on maintaining ethical standards while effectively navigating the digital landscape. Together, we will explore the cultural nuances and discuss the path towards a more ethically sound future in the legal profession. It's now time for the video intro of our podcast. Allow me to introduce my two guests for today, Mrs. Magdalena Sobolewska from Warsaw,
Hello.
Poland, and Mr. Martin Boshkoski from Skopje, North Macedonia.
Hello.
Good to have you both. They are two partners at prominent law firms in their countries, my two guests for today. A quick word about Magdalena. She specializes in real estate and commercial law, offering comprehensive legal services to entrepreneurs. She excels in handling company registration, transformation, and liquidation, as well as providing invaluable legal advice on business operations. Magdalena is also experienced in contract preparation, review, negotiation, and litigation in civil, labor, and commercial law. As for Martin is a distinguished business lawyer. He brings a fresh perspective to legal challenges. His focus is on a business and rational approach, which allows him to provide unique solutions for his clients. His philosophy of adopting a different outlook in law has made him well respected in Macedonia. We are honored to have Magdalena and Martin join us today, as their knowledge and experiences will undoubtedly enrich our discussion. So welcome to our podcast.
Nice to be here.
Thank you for inviting me to this discussion.
It's a pleasure, and I'm sure that the debate today will be a very enriching one. We will begin by defining legal ethics and its relevance in the digital age, which is the subject for our episode. Magdalena, Martin, feel free to intervene because your feedback is welcome, obviously. So, a definition of legal ethics, which I will discuss with my two guests, is that it refers to the set of principles and guidelines that govern the conduct and professional responsibilities of lawyers. It includes the ethical standards and values that lawyers are expected to uphold in their practice, such as duties of competence, confidentiality, loyalty to clients, and maintaining the integrity of the legal profession. I think it's safe to say that advancements in technology have impacted the practice of law immensely in the last decade, if not the last 2 decades. That's why I will ask you both, and I will begin with Magdalena. How has the digital age changed the way lawyers interact with clients and other legal professionals? Magdalena, please.
Nowadays, in modern societies, technology affects on nearly every aspect of our life. It has revolutionized the way we communicate, work, and live. We lawyers have to be updated to this development, no matter if we are fluent in digital tools or not. I think that our today's topic is very important because when using those tools, we need to remember of stay in compliance with attorneys' professional ethics and be aware of risks such as, for instance, data leak, fake news, or hacker attack. And we also need to be aware of AI advancement and its impact on our work. I think that every attorney is obliged to maintain strict confidentiality of client's case and sensitive information. And this is core of our profession, like for doctors or priests. Client needs to trust his lawyer and be confident that whatever he says, it will stay only between him and attorney. We keep many documents in computer or in a cloud, communicate with client via phone, email, or other communicators. When thinking about maintaining confidentiality, I think that we lawyers need to remember about data protection when using digital tools. And as you said, internet connection opens to us an immense space to communication with potential clients from all over the world. In this digital world, we should remember about keeping moderation and tact when offering our legal services. For example, we cannot mislead into thinking that we will solve all legal problems and win every lawsuit. Many law firms have its profile on social media like Facebook or LinkedIn. In such situation, we should remember not only about good quality content law firm issue, but also controlling comments of people and react when finding any inappropriate behavior. Ultimately, we lawyers are responsible for all the content on our social media.
Thank you, Magdalena. A very interesting perspective. And I will now hand over to Martin for his perspective.
Yeah, well, I do agree what Magdalena said. Overall, it is the same in here. We do need to take care of how we communicate. I'm sure lawyers who are working 30, 40 years ago, they had their day a bit slower than us because they probably communicated in a slower way because of less use of digital tools. They didn't have to worry about their computer being hacked or their cloud system being hacked. Now we do have a lot more files. The time that we take to finish some of the communication, the work and everything takes much less when we are speaking to clients, when we are speaking to other attorneys. And I do have a feeling that now clients, because of the digital age, can just Google everything, maybe use AI, and when they come to my office, they have questions, or maybe they have a solutions they want to try right away before us as lawyers being able to think what is the right reasoning for their problem, for example. And in some cases, that makes the whole process more challenging because you have to explain to the client that, okay, I know what you read on Google, but it might not work for your case. And this is the digital age challenge that happens too, in addition to what Magdalena said, all about the security, cybersecurity, the issues with personal data, the measures that we all have to take about protecting this new digital age and how the documents are circulating.
Thank you, Martin. I have to agree with both of you. Some very interesting feedback. Magdalena, please, if you have something to add, feel free. But I found very interesting Magdalena's perspective as well about that comparison between lawyers and, let's say, medical practitioners or even priests, because indeed there are many complexities to this topic. to the fact that on one side you have clients who maybe tech savvy or not, maybe somewhat experienced in digital tools. On the other hand, you have a legal professional who is an expert in his field and who has to find a middle ground for his client as well for his or her profession. So indeed, some very interesting topics that we are addressing today. And moving on to confidentiality and privacy in this digital age that we are living, I will ask you both what are some of the, let's say, ways in which the digital age has affected the duty of lawyers to protect client confidentiality. Because earlier, Martin was speaking about lawyers from some other centuries and as compared to the ones today who have to juggle many other responsibilities, amongst which, of course, confidentiality also in a digital medium. Please.
I can start with this one if you're okay. Magdalena can add on
Sure.
it.
Sure.
If you take a look at my archive right now, there are a lot of documents that we still must keep in hard copy. And if someone wants to breach the personal data of each of those folders, it will be quite unusual to come to my office and get those files right away. But having a couple of gigabytes of documents that I keep on my cloud can be easily transferred on a USB, and this breach or this person can have a lot of IDs, personal data, and everything just on a small USB transferable within minutes. When you just think about it and you think from a client perspective, you get scared a bit, because if you are not really protected with all the measures that are to protect oneself from a security point of view, it gets a little scary, because you know that you can have a lot of IDs and that can be used for stuff like that are not intended to do, but just because they were not protected in your office. And for this reason, we try to do as much as possible to have a system within our law firm that will protect our clients in a way that we keep very good passwords. I think that's very important. And we do have encryption, especially for files and folders that we, for example, finish the case with and we don't use it. We might need it sometime in the future, but until then, that folder should be encrypted. We do have passwords that are changing too. We do have passwords on a computer, on our system, or on IT. I'm the one that I'm like a policeman in my office, but I think it is necessary, because from time to time, some files get lost, and I'm super happy when I come with the backup of everything to just restore it. So also having a backup is very important, and it's a measures that you take and you don't find sense until you do. And this is why I think it's very important to keep and maintain everything, especially in digital age, because as I said in my when we begin speaking, we do have a lot of different time when compared to the lawyer that was working 20, 30 years ago, and this requires different measures. I understand that our colleagues from the past didn't have worries like us. They shouldn't have to worry that a small USB stick can be taken and the data can be breached, and you can potentially hurt a lot of businesses, clients, and everyone.
So sorry to interrupt you. The good old times, no? The good old times when you had less worries I'm joking.
I like the speed of working now, but it comes with a challenges and risks.
Absolutely, and I have to also ask Magdalena. It's a spontaneous question, but do they teach you in law school about this kind of, let's say, protections, digital protections that you have to take, or is it something that you learn on the job?
No, I need to be up to date during my work, and I learn by my own, and it's ongoing education, how to save data of our clients, because this digital technology develops every day. And as far as I know, all digital methods of communication do not come without risk of third-party interception. We lawyers acting with due diligence can mitigate that risk to a minimum. It is our goal. But in my opinion, we cannot eliminate that risk. What I can say that when preparing to this podcast, I read about a huge Pegasus surveillance of lawyers. Pegasus is a software developed by the Israeli company NSO Group. Pegasus is a hacking software that can be used to turn your phone into a 24-hour surveillance device. It can copy your messages, see your photos, film you, record your calls, and activate the microphone to record your conversations. The Pegasus surveillance software has been used in 45 different countries. Among the human rights defenders who were targeted, there were also many lawyers. That unlawful surveillance of lawyers interfered with their work and duty of confidentiality. So I think that it's not possible to eliminate the risk of spying on our telephone, leak of information. We can just try to mitigate that risk. In this case of Pegasus, the worst was that this impacted lawyers' personal sense of privacy and safety. Those hacked people just was afraid of using telephone in family life, keeping photos of children and talking to friends, because you never know when someone will hack your information and photos from your telephone. So our duty is to protect our clients' sensitive information, but we need to remember that the risk is also much wider.
Thank you so much. Very interesting perspective coming from Poland, from Warsaw. And it is indeed a very justified, let's say, preoccupation with these measures, because we've seen, you are referring to that very famous case of the Pegasus software. Indeed, we've also seen, unfortunately, some law enforcement agencies worldwide, NSA comes to mind when talking about this particular topic. So we all know about some particular software that some agency around the world was using in order to maybe spy on different professional categories. I'm referring to maybe journalists, maybe lawyers, and so on. So indeed, it is very, very important to be a bit cautious. I know a lot of legal professionals who, as Magdalena and Martin were previously saying, are keeping separate phone terminals, maybe one for your professional life and another one separate for your personal day-to-day life, because you can never know. You can never be too sure when talking about privacy. So,
Yes, exactly.
as a last question for you, for both of you, for this segment, I would like to ask you what measures do you as lawyers take to ensure the security of client information in the digital age? Martin was speaking earlier about having a good encryption, maybe let's say ensuring that you have a good cloud service in on which you are uploading your documents and so on. Very good passwords indeed. uh, any other measures that you may be taking at your offices?
I can say that we do have also uh, a couple of times per year, like a small, regular, informal training to all of our employees to help them recognize bad emails such as phishing, or to raise awareness overall, to change their password, to audit our digital security overall, and of course to remind that everything has to be encrypted. In our law office, every document that we see on paper must be also scanned, and this is important for us to be able to maintain transparent and quick working relationship with our clients. But having this considers a lot of risk, and we have to have secure cloud system and storage that is also to be protected for these measures. Yeah, this is what we do in our office.
What about you, Magdalena? Thank you, Martin.
What I would add is also refraining from clicking on unfamiliar links, downloading files from unknown source, we need to be cautious of transmitting confidential data through unsecured channels such as public Wi-Fi networks. I always connect my laptop with my smartphone, generating internet connection to minimize the risk of interrupting my connection. We should also ensure confidentiality when participating in virtual meetings or calls by using secure and private platforms. And when attending those meetings, we need to be aware of surroundings and avoid discussing sensitive information in public, like in public transport or in cafe, or other open spaces where other people may overhear our conversation.
Very, very interesting. Thank you, Magdalena. I think you both addressed some very justified aspects, but I would come back to one of the statements by Martin. Here, you are referring to, let's say, a training that you are doing annually at your offices for your employees, for your collaborators. And I would like to ask you both if it is also necessary sometimes to address these let's say worries, these aspects with your clients who may not always be digital natives, who may not always be the most updated with such problems. Are you talking to them? Are you maybe advising them to take precautionary measures in some important cases?
This came for a topic when we have had back in 2 years ago, I believe, we had obligation to adopt the personal law protection for our clients. It was a new law that came into force, and it is quite similar to the, actually pretty much 100% the same as the EU GDPR. And when we were speaking about this, we came to a lot of topics that we were discussing about how they should protect themselves from a security aspect, from encrypting files, having storage that is protected, making sure that they have a mechanism to come back from a breach event, what they should do. And when it came to this, and in a way, it was a form of a training when we were actually presenting them the loss of personal data that are pretty much similar with GDPR. And for me, these measures, I do not take them because of GDPR. I take them because I like to have myself protected. But in our country, as in anywhere in Europe, you have to do it because it's the law.
Great, and I think it's very nice that you emphasize the fact that you don't do it only because it's mandatory, because law requires it, but also because you are a very ethical professional, and the safety of the client's data is something that is, let's say, in your DNA. It's not something that someone imposes on you as a lawyer. And I think Magdalena shares with us this view. Okay, thank you so much to both of you. This has been a very interesting first part of our debate, of our discussion. Some very well-crafted answers and some very enriching and insightful contributions from my two guests. We will be taking a short break, a well-deserved break, time for a little coffee, and then we'll come back to you, to our listeners. So time for the video outro, and we'll be coming back for some more discussions on legal ethics in the digital age. Thank you so much, and we'll resume shortly. Back to Around the Law in 60 Minutes, a WOLEP legal podcast, focusing today on the topic of legal ethics in the digital age. My guests are two very well-respected lawyers in their countries. We are talking about Mrs. Magdalena Sobolewska from Warsaw, Poland. Good to have you with us again, Magdalena, and Mr. Martin Boshkoski from Skopje, North Macedonia. Welcome again, Martin. It's now time to discuss the ethical considerations and potential challenges of using social media as a lawyer. And I know Martin was very excited about this particular part of our podcast because it opens the door for many interesting aspects of using various platforms in order to, in one particular case, to showcase your expertise, to discuss some very important trends in the legal profession, but at the same time, you have to be very careful, no, Martin and Magdalena, because it can quickly backfire. So what is your take on this, please?
Of course, if I may. Well, when it comes to social media, there are a lot of aspects to consider, and what first comes to mind when we are speaking about lawyers is how we maintain professional and how we uphold our legal reputation. And this is not always related to what we post on social media regarding our profession, like legal posts, like I don't know, Facebook status or something like that. But it is also important, like what kind of pictures we post, because we do have friends on LinkedIn and Facebook who are also our clients, and they can see, if they can see a photo of me that doesn't look like the lawyer they see during the work week, they might question my legal reputation. They might question if I'm serious enough to advise their business or anything similar like that. And that is one point of view. What we post from a personal perspective, how we engage with the social media. And when it comes to lawyers, unfortunately, we that part of our life, the lawyer part, always interacts with the professional, and another way around. But also when it comes to social media, a lot of this Facebook, LinkedIn apps are used by lawyers to initiate some kind of a relationship with potential clients, to inform potential clients and stuff like that, maybe to improve their business. They do post comments, they do post blog posts that can easily be understood as a legal advice, and that is usually a problem. It is contrary to our legal ethics in here to be advertising yourself in a manner that is contrary to the legal professional and the legal standards. And we do try to not engage with those posts, to make everything clickbait style of posts, not to make the potential clients only to come to you as a lawyer, not to give them perspective that you are only the lawyer that can solve the issue and no other else. You have to make sure that you are informing as little until a certain line that will not breach our ethical problem. And this is something that we care a lot with our office. We care a lot not to be too frequent with our posts. We do not like to look like a Facebook influencer. We care a lot not to engage in with our clients and making them think that we are the only lawyers that can solve the problem that they might have. And this is pretty much the measures that we take. Of course, we might speak more about it later, but for us, it is very important to maintain professionalism and uphold the reputation of the legal profession in all online interactions. Yeah.
Thank you. And speaking of which, because something came to mind when you were sharing your view, I think everyone knows a less ethical colleague, a less ethical lawyer who maybe, like you said, advertises himself and his services or her services on platforms such as TikTok, where you would not necessarily think to find a lawyer or to find legal advice, but they do. And in some cases they have maybe tens of thousands of or hundreds of thousands, maybe more, of followers. So that's very interesting. Thank you, Martin. And I will ask Magdalena, what guidelines do you follow when using social media professionally?
I agree with Martin that social media is a powerful tool. When using social media, firstly, we need to protect the confidentiality of our clients' information. So we cannot describe a pending court case in detail on social media or other information referred to our client. In my opinion, we should also verify our contacts to avoid conflicts of interest. For instance, be friend on Facebook with both conflicted parties of trial is not a good idea. As the same sending likes to competitor of our business client is also not in a good tone. In my opinion, be friends on social media with judges or public prosecutors, exchanging with them some thoughts or photos in public also does not seem clever. In such case, we can be accused of promoting ourselves as lawyers with a lot of influences in the judiciary. We also use, in my opinion, we can use generative AI as a tool for brainstorm content ideas, but not for creating illegal content on our social media. We need to remember that AI software did not graduate law school, and those programs are full of errors. That is why content on a law firm website or social media should be created by a lawyer itself. In my opinion, lawyers must also keep track of what others are saying about them online, because even one negative comment left without our answer and explanation, when read by thousands of potential clients, can ruin our reputation.
I know that the subject of artificial intelligence that you addressed, content creation and so on, is very dear to Martin. I know that we previously talked to Martin about AI and its advantages, its opportunities, but also their perils. And coming to this question, do you have any guidelines, Martin, in North Macedonia, maybe from the Bar Association or from other entities, which guide you?
Unfortunately, the code of ethics that is from our National Bar Association hasn't been too updated with all the social media stuff, and we do see our lawyers commonly giving advice on social media, arguing on social media too much, presenting themselves in a manner they should not be presenting themselves. I even see lawyers that are using sponsored ads on Facebook, and this is where I really draw a line. I can handle a comment or two, post or anything like that if that was maybe for the purpose to get into a debate which might be healthy, or maybe for some reason to get potential new clients. I can understand that. I do not do that. I can understand that. But having your website sponsored for you to get more clients is where I draw the line. And I think it's too much for me. The topic of AI, it's not regulated in here. And I'm not against it if it can be a helping tool. In the end of the day, if someone engages a lawyer and this lawyer is using AI for some reason to reply on emails and everything like that, before they click on send button, they always know that it is the lawyer that is sending that email. You might have used that chat GPT bot or something like that to give you the answer, and I'm not against that as long as you reread it, you adopt it. It can be a good tool to help you to communicate better, to write your email to be better. Of course, when it comes to speakers who are not English native, ChatGPT can be an amazing tool to summarize something, to explain. It is for the good of the client if you can write them a better email. But the content, the information, you cannot blame ChatGPT afterwards if that was false. And we do not have regulation for AI, but we do have regulation for giving a false misdemeanor advice where you advise your client wrongly. In the end of the day, it is you who is hitting that send button. And when the email is received by your client, they're not going to question the ChatGPT bot. It's going to be you that is responsible for the content.
So to draw a line for this particular question, common sense, knowledge, and ethics take you a long way as a lawyer. And moving on to thank you, Martin. Moving on to our next question for this segment: are there any risks or ethical dilemmas associated with lawyers engaging in social media discussions or providing legal advice online? I would stress this last part, providing legal advice online, because there are many more after the pandemic, especially, and during the pandemic, the last 2 or 3 years, there have been a lot of lawyers who took up on this trend, who provided legal advice online due to the societal conditions, to the precautionary measures during the pandemic. And I think it settles into modus operandi, a way of living for and working for many professionals, not only lawyers. I've seen also doctors and so on, who provide advice via digital tools. So, what is your opinion about this?
When it comes to giving advice on social media, the number one risk is misinterpretation of that. What you say might not be understood correctly to whoever is reading that, and if it is public comments or public posts, you don't know who is reading your comment. And if this applies to their case, what they know, as I previously mentioned, they know that you might be giving a personal view, but in the end of the day, they will look at you as a lawyer. When it comes to that, misinterpretation is number one risk. After that, the advice might be inaccurate or incomplete, just because you didn't have the chance to know all the facts. If someone writes a post and you decide to comment on it, it is usually a case where you don't see the complete documentation. You just see what the other party has. I try to explain to even when I receive a phone call from my clients who would like to get straight away answer, and I'm trying to explain to them, please understand, I cannot give you straight away answer. It's not because I don't like it. It's just just like you are calling to a doctor and you say my stomach hurts. He cannot give you a diagnosis because before he sees you in front of the computer and everything that he has to do in order to give you the right diagnosis. It is the same with the lawyers. We have to see the documents. We have to study the case, study the law once again to see if there is any changes and everything like that. And because of this, and because social media and legal advice provided there usually relates to giving quick answer, It is very much in the risk of not being the right answer.
So the risk is being superficial, sorry to interrupt you, is being not consistent and providing some maybe quick gratification for the client, but not necessarily the right answer legally.
Of course. And there are many other issues like conflict of interest. If they see your personal views as advice and everything like that, I would like to avoid it as much as possible.
That's a very good philosophy. What about you, Magdalena? Have you ever been in this particular situation where someone maybe asked you for an advice via social media, knowing that you are a lawyer?
Yes, it happens from time to time. In my opinion, we need to engage in such conversation because it can be seen as an attorney-client relationship. We should inform shortly and say that if you have further concerns, you can contact our law firm. Generally, I agree with you that during the pandemic of COVID-19, people found out that in most cases, it is not necessary to meet in person. In other words, that there is no difference in quality of legal services comparing these two forms of meetings with lawyer. Is it face-to-face or via digital communicator? Nowadays, in my everyday practice, I contact clients mainly in online formula and meet in the form of video conference. In my opinion, this is beneficial for both sides. Everyone is busy these days and prefer to spend time on something more productive or rest instead of wasting time while commuting to the law office. In my opinion, while using social media, we should persist from commenting political situation or religious issues because these are very sensitive topics. And taking one side of the discussion may deprive us of current clients or potential clients who are on the other side of the discussion.
Some very good advice from Magdalena, but also from Martin for the young generation of up and coming lawyers. So very important not to address maybe sensitive topics with clients, but not only, even with colleagues, because like you said, it can easily backfire, it can easily get you into trouble. So the safe way is the good way in using social media, indeed. And I think this also applies to many other domains, but especially for lawyers. And moving on to our final segment, thank you both for the feedback so far. We will be talking about ensuring technological competence and ethical obligations. And my next question would be, how can lawyers stay up to date with technological advancements and their ethical implications? Because it is very challenging. We were addressing artificial intelligence, and it seems that every day something new comes up. Every day some genius programmer invents another algorithm that can totally change the way we are working and we are doing our profession. So please, Martin.
Yes, you're right. It seems like every day lately something new comes up. And what is interesting about that, it finds us. With ChatGPT, within weeks, everyone knew about it. When it comes to a new legal related software, it is usually whoever made that software that will contact you to let you know that this is the new product that you can buy, and this new product can give you advantage in front of the competition. So our prime motivation to do better as a law firm, as a lawyers, we are all competitive. We came to the new AI, to the new technology tools by a way that we would like to be better than and up to date to the other law firms. But there are also, I'm sure, like every lawyer who is interested about each profession, we as a law firm like to subscribe to certain magazines, websites, where we usually get informed about the latest up-to-date technologies, what lawyers use in other jurisdictions, or anything like that. I have to be honest with you. We, as law office, who are coming from a small jurisdiction, usually these technology tools come to us last. This is because it is not of a great business interest for whoever is developing this app to make it suitable for jurisdiction like North Macedonia. But from a conservative point of view, and we can be somehow protected in a way that we as lawyers are not the one who will be first attacked by the newest software. We from coming from North Macedonia, because it doesn't always make sense for the first app for lawyers, so for some kind of software to be developed strictly for the Macedonian laws. And this gives us advantage to, how to say, see in the future, to see what lawyers from European Union are getting and say, okay, this is coming to us in a couple of years, not for now until they adopt it for Macedonian laws and the language and everything.
So it gives you a bit of time to prepare.
Yes, it gives us time to prepare. That's right. And it's a somehow an advantage, I would say.
Thank you. Please, Magdalena, if you want to share your opinion on this topic.
Yes, staying updated with technological advancement requires a combination of ongoing education, networking, and staying informed about industry developments. What I can add to what Marty said, we can follow different legal technology professionals and companies by using social media platforms. We can also participate in online forums and groups dedicated to legal technology and discuss current issues. And of course, we should personally experiment with new technology. We should try out new legal tech tools and platforms to gain our hand-on experience.
Thank you, and it's safe to say that with both of you, that is the case, because obviously you are very open-minded about technology, which, like I said, makes you a perfect fit for this particular topic today. And moving on to my last question, I would like to ask both of you, what are the potential consequences of failing to meet ethical obligations related to tech?
Well, Theodor, when it comes to this, you have to see it from what can you do wrong to the client if you post something to social media, if you use the technology in a not safe way, and you do breaches like that. The first one when it comes to this that comes to my mind is the breach of client confidentiality. If you do post something on the social media that you should have not, you are potentially damaging your client, and then the consequence of that is, of course, the loss of trust and reputation. And if it is a serious case, you might even have disciplinary actions against you. For example, if you do too much of that in here, you can have the bar association make a disciplinary action and take your license or anything similar to that. Then and that, of course, will bring some negative financial consequences to your business. And this is why, in a summary, it's quite important to avoid these negative consequences by having a strict guidelines on what you do, how you protect your data. Are you using these measures? Are you posting online something that you should not, or what you should post over there? Are you giving advice or not? And this is why overall This is a very important topic for all lawyers who in a way we can get carried away online. We might post a comment that we would like to delete after a while, but it might be too late sometimes.
So it's better to think twice before posting or before sharing advice, because it can get you into trouble, into hot waters. What about? Thank you, Martin. What about Magdalena? What do you think?
I totally agree with Martin. Failing to meet ethical obligations may lead to legal action before the public court and financial penalties, and also disciplinary proceedings at the Bar Association. In Poland, there are different disciplinary penalties in the Bar Association, and the worst is, of course, the privation of the right to practice the profession of an attorney, which can end up in terminating the law firm's business. So it's better to behave according to ethical standard.
Very, very good advice that you share with our network, with our viewers. And I think the topics that we address today under this umbrella of legal ethics in the digital age will be very valuable for our community of lawyers, but not only. I am also thinking about our clients and our public who is interested in various legal issues. So, in conclusion, because we are nearing the end of our podcast, I would like to say that it is clear this topic holds immense significance for the legal profession. The rapid advancements in technology have brought about unprecedented challenges and ethical dilemmas that lawyers must navigate with care and diligence, as both of my guests underlined today. I'd like to thank my esteemed guests, Magdalena and Martin, for sharing their expertise and shedding light on the multifaceted aspects of legal ethics in the digital landscape. Your insights have provided invaluable perspectives on upholding ethical standards while embracing the opportunities and complexities of the digital age, which most surely will only increase in the coming years and decades. As for you, our viewers, we invite you to stay tuned for our next episode, where we will continue our exploration of the evolving legal landscape. So again, Martin, Magdalena, thank you so much. It's great to have you both here, and I hope this is only one of the many such gatherings together. Thank you for joining us today, and until
Thank
next
you.
time, may ethical principles continue to guide our path as we navigate the ever-changing world of law in the digital age. Until next time, friends, have a blessed day, and see you again soon.
Thank you, Theodore, for this
Thank
opportunity.
you.